I call the meeting of the select board for Monday, February 24th, 2025 at 6:30. Order. Review agenda for additional removal or adjustments of any items to adjustments. Public forum, 5 minutes per person. That's something that's not on the agenda related. Okay, we'll open up 6:30 to 6:40, I guess. Do the turn that round. Bruce, while you're here, got the round.
Nothing new, just staying busy. We've had a couple of bigger cases that we continue to receive assistance from other law enforcement agencies, and we continue to work diligently on those cases.
You can see on front porch farm, we've got a few
Car break-ins, yeah.
Fairfield Street area, Maple Street area.
Maple Street.
Just keeping it quiet. We're working on it.
Working on it. If somebody has information, please come forward. We haven't found, we haven't developed much intelligence on it.
Are the cars unlocked or they keep breaking?
The cars are unlocked. The only thing that's been discovered missing so far are keys.
Yeah. So I keep my best and I'm like, help yourself. There's nothing in here. Help yourself. Right? Just don't break my window. Just keep mine locked all the time.
Please take it. Eric, anything? Got caught up with a little sleep. Did I hear you up last night? Did I hear you up last night? I thought I heard a truck.
Last night, we came out. This morning I came out, checked roads. It snowed, stayed on me, and then so I only had to have.
Of course it did.
Of course it did. And no, we're just fixing stuff as we go. The stone blower broke Friday. We got that fixed today. The grader, the cylinder for the rear cable for the wing blew the bottom out. So we're waiting for a cylinder for that. We can't use the wing on the grader now. So yeah, just coming along, widening out the sidewalks, moving snow between where the sidewalks and the roads are close together. We're taking the snow away so they don't fight back and forth.
Yeah, remember that scene, right? Yeah, we just not winds.
Other than that,
How's the new camera thing, whatever we approved?
that seems to be working good now.
That's on Lincoln Road now.
Oh, it's on the Lincoln Road.
Yeah.
Didn't use it in your production?
Yeah, I got 2 other cameras.
Oh,
Not that style, just the regular.
House security camera.
oh. So you can get online.
So I can get on, just see what's going on. That one up by Jimmy's is working good. The one on Lincoln Road, they said the third one they finally sent me actually seems to be working. And there's one on.
You gotta love technology.
I'm gonna ask you a question. And I don't expect the answer tonight, but I saw it on the news this morning. One of our representatives in the Middlebury area sponsoring a bill. You know how the state monitors the salt.
Yeah, I saw that this morning.
Municipalities are gonna have to possibly, if that bill passes, do the same thing. Do we have that kind of equipment? No. So, it costs us.
So the only one that might have it would be Bill's truck probably has the capability of it in that Sanders.
So you got to do every truck.
Yeah.
I thought it was 20 yards well.
We write that down in the book now. We write down everything that we put on the roads on a budget.
Okay.
But there is actually standard controls that have the capability of tracking how much
Okay.
as long as you have the unit calibrated, the standard calibrated, and you keep your door at the same position, you bed change same up, yeah, whatever. It calibrates and then it'll do a running tally in the standard control. And you just gotta go in every day and plug it out. So truck 2, the Village will do it, the Mac will do it. I think them are the only 2 trucks that do it. The rest of them don't have that capability.
For you?
Election next Tuesday, town meeting Monday night. We've sent out 70 absentee ballots already. Just plodding along every day, and the audit's ongoing. So,
Any surprises there?
not yet, not that we can tell,
They haven't said we need this, and this.
not yet.
Have they said when they'll be finished? We can see it.
At least a month or so.
Yeah, at least a month out.
A month that they'll be finished here, or a month that we'll have a report?
I don't know.
Yeah.
The hub's been busy. Last week we had a bunch of events that we normally don't have because the snow canceled them all first, and then we had to reschedule them back to back. So fun. We had a community dinner on Thursday, where we made some chicken and had a bunch of people come and eat community dinner, which was really successful, and I'm hoping to do it more frequently. So it's a really great opportunity for people to come together that may not otherwise know one another and eat food, which I think is a really important way to connect with peers and with like our neighbors, and everyone is our neighbor. So that was really cool. Our next one is April 11th. I don't even know. Yeah, Dave didn't. And then on Friday we had our second skate park design meeting, which was also very successful. Nor'easter came, so Chris and Keith from Nor'easter came, presented 3 different designs. There was about 20 something people in attendance, and we picked apart the designs, and we're going back to the drawing board. As they were expecting, right? It is because it's such a collaborative event, such a collaborative process, that we really want to make sure that the designs are exactly what the community is looking for and what the rec club is looking for. It's a day quarter. We're there last night representing the rec club too. So that, and then it's been busy at the hub. We've been high numbers, and kids have been behaving, which has been phenomenal, and doing crafts and playing music and making friends. It's been great.
How many people chat at your community dinner? Because I saw a lot of somebody posted from performance.
So many. Probably about 16. Yeah. Which is great.
My hat's off to the skating crew. It's been wonderful. It looks great.
Yeah,
I
that's
guess I'm so going to go by on the bus at night, see people out there skating at night.
It's been so cool. Not today. It's
No,
not today. Don't go on it today.
no.
But that has been really cool. It's been great for to help kids have been able to go
So I
out.
think this is one of the years.
One of the best years.
Longest ice we had. No breaking it.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's been phenomenal. So that's been really, so it's just, all has been very, very good.
Okay. And that's up town. Meredith, you up? Quick, I'm gonna interrupt a minute.
Yeah.
Give you.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, so the rec department's been really busy. This week we're doing the community swim at the pool from 8 to 12, and today was a great day for it. And then we had a contra dance on Saturday at the Holly Hall, and that was happening. Lots of people for that. Just a quick summary, the Holly Hall has been rented out almost every day. If it's not being rented out, a program is being operated out of there. So Aiden and I have probably mopped it 4 or 5 times a week, just trying to keep the salt and dirt low. So we added a couple of boot kickers, I guess, in the entryway of the Holly Hall. So we're just trying to get people to kick the salt off before they enter the building, and it seems to work. And then we're going into March, and we're busy again with rentals, a lot of rentals on the weekends, and programming just going strong with our gymnastics and dance, and almost all of our summer camp programs are full. There might be 1 or 2 spots open, so really successful and great.
Rita, real quick, then we'll start with Bruce. Hey, Grant, story you want to tell us?
Yeah, I'm actually here for a couple of other discussion items as well, but I can just update you quickly that this week we heard from the state AOT department. They were really backed up and were not responding to a couple of requests, including a grant agreement for the scoping study for the sidewalk on West Street. And we got an email from them this week saying that will be in our hands by the end of next week, which is great news. So we can draft an RFP for that. And the other item from the AOT was awaiting our payment, our reimbursement payment of $175,000 for the the slope restoration along Lincoln Road. That is the riverbank work that was done. And we should have got that money like probably 2 months ago. But as I said, I think they were very backed up. And we just got an email from them this week on that saying we'll have those funds by the end of this week. So just 2 good news items from that department.
Rita, is it coming through the portal or by chat?
Those, that 175 will come in the portal. And I'll
Okay.
send you guys an email when we get that in.
Okay. Just
Also, just on a FEMA note, sorry, we're successfully wrapping up that FEMA work from 2019. So final payouts are coming probably in the next month or so for that.
just a clarification, sidewalk scoping study, that's from what?
Airport
From, is that Airport Drive or from here down to the creamy stand?
Scoping study is West Street. Construction is for Airport Drive.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Yep.
All righty, okay,
Jill will get back to her.
yeah, Jill, I'll have to get back to you. I'm gonna start the police district meeting. We'll recess the select board meeting and open up the annual public police district meeting for information. Anybody's got any questions to the chief about his budget or to the board about his budget? This is the time. This will be the last public hearing, and then we'll vote on it next Tuesday from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. by ballot. If you're a district resident, pay police tax. Anybody out in the crowd first that's got any questions? There is the warning. Ian has brought it up.
There's someone in the chat.
No, that's just Jill
Oh, that's
saying,
just
okay.
Jill. Okay.
Now Jill's voice is clear. And you did work.
Jill was muffled.
Okay.
You had one in the waiting room, Ian, that popped up there a little while ago.
I did?
Yeah, it was Todd Warnock.
I thought you let him know.
Todd might be on for the,
Maybe someone else. Did.
Oh,
I think he's on for the annual bicycle
Where's he going?
race.
He's gone. He's gone.
Todd might be on for the bicycle thing.
Oh, okay.
Anybody here got any questions for the chief on his budget?
Yeah, and then I can display the budget.
Questions,
Any
comments?
questions? Any questions from the Zoom on Zoom again?
It's not.
Guess not.
I don't see anybody hands raised or anything.
No.
Okay, I will, the police district, annual police district meeting, public information meeting tonight at 6:45. So we started about 6:43, so Bruce, thank you, chief. for coming in.
Have a good night.
Yeah, you're like Eric's reports. You're short and sweet. Thanks, Bruce. Okay, Jill, okay, we're back to department head roundtable. Jill, how's the water things doing?
Hey guys, sorry, I haven't talked to you guys as a group in just a little bit. Water is doing well. It's still nice and clean and super cold. There were a couple people that had a couple of freezing issues, but none of them were anything that was on the town side so far. So that was kind of nice with given all the super cold weather we had in the last couple weeks. Let's see. I had a set of notes. They keep disappearing. Okay, so Ian knows this, and I'm not sure if he shared totally with you guys, but the Bristol West P-list application was submitted for construction funding. So wanted to just thank Steve and Ian for their work on that, given that it was, lots of back and forth and a little bit of detail here and there to try to maximize the priority points based on the true eligibility of the project, which is there. There's definitely a need for it. The March read is coming up the second week of March, which is the water read. This one's always the hardest because the snow is the deepest. So I just wanted to ask people, if perchance the snow does not melt down from this very high level, and it's still high, if they could just please clear around their meter touchpad, so that it's both visible and accessible, because a lot of them are down by the bottom trim piece of the houses. And so when there's lots of feet of snow, they're like super duper buried, and sometimes they're like iced in, and it's really hard to read them. So I'm not sure where we'll be by like March 10th, but if the snow level hasn't come down a lot, there'll be quite a bit of clearing that needs to be done on the houses and buildings where they're down low. Regarding that, once the billing is done for March, we'll have 3 out of 4 of the quarters, and that's when we have actuals versus budget. We'll be able to go ahead and get working on the FY26 water budget. I'm curious to know how actuals versus budget are even looking so far, just 2 quarters in, just to kind of see, since we had like a major rate change, like if it's working. Just because I haven't seen anything since maybe Q1. And then the good news that we learned, it was a bummer to lose the rep that we had for our census meters, but the good news is we have a new rep called Core in Maine, who's soon to be opening a branch in Vermont, able to service us from where they are in Massachusetts and the surrounding states, and let me know that the census meters that we already have are actually warranted for manufacturer's defects within the first 10 years, which wasn't something that we knew about previously. So when the batteries are dying and we're having to replace them before they're 10 years old, they'll actually, when we order the new one, they will refund us for the fact that the meter didn't last 10 years. So I'm psyched about that. And there's also apparently a proration for the next 5 years. So meters that are failing to continue to work that are less than 15 years old, they should either be a full replacement or a partial monetarily, which is great. Regarding being able to move into maybe like a telemetry read or a radio read at some point, I guess they're quite a large vendor. And if we happen to do a project that was sizable, meaning putting radios on all of our meters, for instance, they can offer some kind of bulk discounting, which would be really nice. So good things. Every once in a while, it's a bummer to have a new rep, but in this case, it's actually a really good thing.
That's great.
Hey, Joe, do you know, and I didn't even ask Ian this, but the status of our water warrants, where are we at that?
Yeah.
It'll come back on the agenda very soon.
Yeah, I think after town meeting.
Yes, mid-March is when we plan to bring that in. And we want to start early on the budget, because what we decide on that affects our eligibility for the next phase 2 for the DWSRF loans. And then we're going to work on that budget, and then we're going to start the next year's budget in November, because we decided to change that so they all fall in line. And then after that, we'll just do it as part of our budget cycle each year.
Okay. And the other thing I wanted to ask, which Brett brought up, was the fire hydrant shoveling.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll
so we
have
could
to
ask,
hop out there and shovel again. They got super deep, and then it kept snowing, and then they got super icy and hard. So now that it's warming up and the ice is starting to melt, so it's not just a chunk of ice and it can move, we can shovel them out, no problem.
I did see quite a few of them are done.
Well, I think Brett did quite a few of
I
them.
did a bunch of them this past weekend.
Right.
Yeah, I did a couple.
Mhm.
do you want to bring that up now or have it be later on?
No, it doesn't matter. I just wanted to find out if that was something that Jill was aware of, and whether it was on her plate or whether we needed
Well,
to
so-
figure that
so-
out.
Brett had written to us asking about the responsibility of fire hydrants and clearing. And
Right.
so I don't know the answer to that, but I don't if a board member does, or if someone else knows, if whose responsibility it is to clear fire hydrants when there is snow on them.
Mm,
We do generally take responsibility. We do, however, have a policy to not try and shovel them out during the storm, because every single time the plow goes by, they get reburied.
Right.
In this particular case, right as the storm was ending, the wind picked up and everything turned to a chunk of ice, which I myself am not capable of shoveling through a 2-inch layer of ice. So we kind of just needed a little bit of a warm up to be able to actually move everything out of in front of them.
Okay. All right, so are we saying that it's VTUM's responsibility
Mhm.
generally it has been in the past to clear hydrants, is that correct?
Yes, if there's a significant storm and it appears that they're not readily accessible, we do clear in front of them. Yes.
All right, thank you, Jill.
Okay.
Yep.
Anything else, Jill? The good of the order?
Oh, we got our construction permit for Bristol West. So I think that's kind of cool because that's another 15 points on the P list and it's one more thing that's done.
Okay.
Okay, so when you said you just submitted the bids for the Bristol West or construction, whatever you said.
It's called a priority list application. So you have to apply for the priority list to get points. Because basically, let's say that there's $100 million worth of projects that apply and there's $30 million of funding. They give points to each application. And if you're not in the top of the applications for points, you don't even get funded. You have to be in the fundable range. And then you have to receive a funding offer. So I'm pretty confident that we'll be towards the top of the list, given that we have very high priority points, unless a bunch of other projects happen to be like Humdinger's, kind of like we have, where it's hitting 15 different areas that are of concern versus just 2 or 3.
I know we also talked about being on the border or whether we're going to qualify or not. Are we still at that?
No.
No.
According to all of our discussions with the state,
Mhm.
we should be eligible dependent on what our budget is and our debt is. And we're slowly accumulating more debt as these projects happen, but it's also dependent on our every part of our budget, which we can talk about as we get into the budget cycle. But no, we using their formulas, and Jill and I and Steve have been working through that and double checking and rechecking and triple checking. It seems like we're in a very good place. Things could obviously change over the next few years, but at the moment it looks very positive.
Okay, good.
Yeah, there's quite a bit of mathematics to it, but it's also asking what the post-project budget will be. So we're being very deliberate in how we're budgeting so as to try to maximize any type of forgiveness or grants, because it's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jill, how are we, now that, like I said, I don't see you guys out and about because it's winter time and we didn't have a lot of freeze up. How's the lead pipe service line inventory coming? Is that
Dead.
pretty well wrapped up?
Dead.
No, it's sort of dead. Basically, those who wanted to respond have responded, and it's kind of in the second wave. So we did apply for more funding. It would be some type of other consultant, so that the unknown on the town side, so for the older water lines where they were put in 100 years ago and or let's say they're 70 years ago and they're not going to get replaced with Bristol East or Bristol West. There are still like 400 unknowns on the town side because the record drawings don't show what the material of the town water service line is. So there's some water testing that the state will likely offer to try to figure out that mystery. And then we have just a couple handfuls inside of Bristol East and Bristol West to figure out before final design is completed, so that if they need to be replaced on the customer side due to the rules, that we're fully aware of that.
So when you say 400, please identify what you mean by that. There's not 400, because we only got 650 odd users and you said you were 85 or 90%.
Okay, well, let me clarify. So we have water lines, right? Water mains, then we have service lines. The service lines have 2 sides. There's a customer side and a town side. The delineating piece between the 2 sides is the curb, or sometimes a meter pit.
From the main to the curb box.
Okay.
Right?
There's,
right, Jill? But
Yep.
The main to the main 8-inch or 6-inch or 4-inch line to the curb box is count on. Those are
Correct.
the 400 you may or may not know what they are.
I can't say with a straight face with a set of drawings that doesn't say what the material is from like 1920 or 1950. It doesn't specify what the service line material is. I can't say with a straight face what's in the ground from that many years ago. I can see what's in the customer's basement, but I can't see what's buried in the ground and under the road.
Out of those 400, how many are going to, between Bristol West and Pine Street was already done? Are going to
Oh
be
God,
replaced?
like half. That'll take care of them, a little bit more than half actually, because it's all the super, super old stuff and then the moderately old stuff. So I have
Okay.
a feeling we'll be down to like maybe 100 or 125, and that's where if they're offering free assistance and they'll do the water testing for the ones that we know aren't in Bristol East or West and they're still a mystery, I think we'll take them up on that offer to try to just keep getting that to 100% known on all sides.
Okay, all right. Thanks. Anything else?
That's about it that I have.
Christopher, I didn't forget you working with Sharon.
No, we're good.
Anything? We've got any? Oh, just go back.
It's all good.
All right. Any other rounds? We don't have anybody else? Okay, consent agenda, number 7, approval of the annual certificate of highway mileage without changes. And approval of Grand Fondo annual bicycle event on Bristol roads.
I make a motion to approve both. I just have one question on the Grand Fondo.
Okay, is there a second? There's a
Second.
motion and a second. Okay, Michelle, go ahead.
On the Grand Fondo, on the insurance, can we just make sure, I mean, I know they said they have the policy, just make sure that we are listed as an insured.
Okay.
Which I think they usually do in the past, but he didn't say that, so I just want to make sure that they put the town of Bristol.
Todd is on, I
Additional
know. I think
insurance.
Todd is on for the Grand Fondo. Todd, did you hear that, Todd, that question from Michelle?
Hold on one sec.
He's got to unmute him.
Yes, I did hear that. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, I did hear that, and that's not a problem if the town wants their own COI, that's fine.
We just need to be listed as an additional insured. That's all.
Yes, yeah,
Yeah.
that's the same.
Same as
You-
you've done in the past, I think.
Yeah, that's no problem.
Alrighty,
And I assume you've talked to Bruce already.
To Bruce,
Yeah,
Yes.
okay.
no, he and I haven't talked directly, but it's on the, usually I'm talking to him sometime between now and the end of March.
Okay.
okay. Just for that's September or no, this
End
one's
of
June,
January, end of June.
end of June.
June 28th.
Okay, all right. Okay, and I know I've asked this before. Firehouse Drive is already in the mileage, highway mileage.
Yes.
It is, okay, because that's been in a 3 years now.
Yes.
Right, okay. We have a motion and a second for consent agenda for those 2 items. Anybody other got any questions? Should I ask first? Ian or Jessica, you got any? Okay, all those in favor of approving the consent agenda, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Okay. Regular business, number 10, discussion of skate park project land access. Taylor from the hub is here, and Dave Rosen from the rec club is here.
You guys are gonna have to explain to me how we are entitled to this grant you're applying for.
How we're entitled to it?
Entitled to, I'm like, look at this one. How does a skate park get part of this grant?
It's just part of the Land and Water Conservation Fund has historically approved skate parks. Like it's just, they
Really?
are, like when I've spoken
No
to the
matter where they
administrators.
are?
I mean, well, like,
what the
the
correlation
issue is that it has to be on land either where the public access easement or they has to be owned by town
Mhm.
property. I don't know if I can speak exactly to the correlation other than we do qualify, and so we would
I'm
like
glad
it.
you do, but
And so similarly, so this was one of the big grants that funded the skating rink
Mhm.
back in 2001, which is
Yeah.
why there's the funny ownership with the skating rink, because in order for that grant, in order for the rec club to qualify for that grant, the town either need a public access easement or the town had to own the land. And that time they decided to go with the ownership of the land. So the update is, so we're applying for this.
Actually, and that's how we got the first tennis courts too. in
Yeah.
1978.
Right, yeah, so it's been a huge thing, so that's why the land over at the rec club property is so funny like that. And so So you can either do you can seed the land, so that the rec club could seed the land, or this the less invasive is a public access easement, in which case the rec club would maintain ownership of the land, but it would go on record through like the deed that from now in perpetuity, it is open to recreation. So even if the rec club closed, this land would be for recreation, specifically the skate park area. And the deed language is very specific that, or the ask that we're having the rec club put in is very specific that it's only going to be going in, or the language is that it only applies if we get the grant. So it's not a default, we have a public access easement, or a, if they decide to go for the transfer of ownership, it's not a default transfer of ownership or public access only if we get the LWCF funds, which is what the deed says back from the hockey rink. In that deed from 2001, it says very specifically, like, this only applies in the instance that the LWCF, the Land and Water Conservation Fund grant, is received by the rec club. So I've been working close. Sorry.
No, that's fine. No, when I first looked at it, I was like, I just don't know how this correlates.
I think they just have historically been very enthusiastic, have been the one state grant that funds skate parks for whatever reason. Borek doesn't historically. So like, we love someone. So in order for us to even qualify, and so we're asking, it's 50% match. So we're going to ask for, so I'm getting quotes for how much everything's going to cost. We're expecting everything to cost around 700,000. So we would provide 350,000, which will be through the 150,000 that we have currently, and then be fundraised otherwise. And it's also through, it can be in donations of labor or goods, in-kind donations. So it's a whole slew of different ways.
Right. Options.
Yeah. So we're asking, so then this grant with then our match would cover the project. So it would happen like in 2026 rather than 2020 ? I'm working closely with the rec club. I'm talking with Porter, Troy, Dave, and Joel has been on emails navigating the situation. Important. Yeah. Because it's a big ask. It is, the goal of this is aligned with the rec club's goal of ensuring public access recreation on that land. Because that's all the LWCF wants, and that's all that we're wanting.
So your two options are that the town owns the land underneath where it's going to be, or there's public access easement.
Correct.
And right now it's all owned by the rec club.
Correct. And we are looking at the public access easement option, which is identified in several of the grant supporting documents as a totally sufficient way to navigate this sort of situation.
Any other questions for Taylor?
And the rec club's all on board with doing public easement, public access easement?
Yeah.
I have some, for full disclosure, I am a rec club, longtime rec club member, and I'm a trustee of the rec club, which trustees don't hold a very important position in the rec club, but a very important position. They're the only three. David is a rec club trustee, and Porter Knight and myself. We are trustees of the club that decide land purchases and land acquisitions, and that's why the three of us have been. So I'll be abstaining from this vote tonight.
I'd just like to pipe up for just a minute. In this skateboard park design, in terms of public access, one of the things that I saw in the drawings that is wonderful is that the drawings and the project includes good access sidewalk to the pavilion. So people can come in from West Street on a proper sidewalk, kind of go around the perimeter of the park, and then have access to the pavilion with all safe access, so it's, you know.
For
it's-
all.
For
Yeah,
all,
safe.
yeah, so it really opens up, safer access for all.
So here's my question, the public access easement, is that gonna have to be that whole front piece? Or just where the I mean, if you're talking about putting in sidewalks, does it then require you to have? Do they
So-
require the public access easement to be everything or just where the skate park is? I mean, that's
Yeah.
a big detail.
It is. So they don't have, do you have a piece of paper I can draw on? There's your pen. Cool. So, let's see if I can draw this real quick. So if here's the hub, there's already a sidewalk that goes this way, and here's the
To the
fence.
driveway.
Yep, and here's the pavilion.
Yep.
Here's big tree, little tree. So what we're discussing at this point in time, actually big trees right there.
If you look on the screen.
Here we go.
Yeah, cool. That makes more sense. So, the skate park design, what we're discussing is not going to be the same shape as that. We're looking at a much more amorphous and organic shape, with a goal of it being a very beautiful, like sort of art piece that is like one of the first things you see when you pull into town, which is very cool. A lot of opportunity for public art. So the access would be right. So from the sidewalk, I'm imagining right where the opening is currently. So
Where the crosswalk is.
yeah, where the crosswalk is, pulled in from there, to the skate park, which is going to be amorphous and not a rectangle.
Different configuration, yeah.
And so then down and then over. So it wouldn't have to be all of the, or so then actually the sidewalk would extend from the hub would extend, what is this, south further, and then it would pull over, so it's more of a direct shot to the pavilion.
So the sidewalk that comes in from West Street, would that also go to the pavilion or
No,
just to
that
the
will skirt
skate park?
around the skate park. So it'll go to the skate park and not just shoot you into the skate park. It's going to continue to exist in a, like around the skate park and kind of pull you over to the other sidewalk. And of course, you can just walk through the skate park. You'll be able to do that, but we also don't want people like, that are bringing their grandchildren in with walkers to like suddenly be in the middle of the bowl. So it will skirt around.
So when you're discussing in terms of the land easement,
Yes.
is it just the land that the new design and the sidewalk is under, or are you looking at this entire area here?
I am not looking at any land that we are not going to be building on. I don't think I don't think we need that, given the, if you look at the tennis courts and at the hockey rink, the transfer of ownership is literally the footprint that it's on. And of course, this is a larger footprint and slightly different because it is going to be amorphous and more like continuing lanes. But it is, we don't need access to the entire thing as far as I know.
Okay. I mean, to me, as Michelle has said too, it might make more sense to encapsulate this entire area just because it's the design hasn't been finalized yet, and it won't be as simple as a rectangular shape similar to the skating rink. And that gives you the ability not to have to go back if you decide a sidewalk needs to curve around and go to here, or something coming this way and you're planting trees. If you're able to sort of look at this entire rectangle as one area, and then obviously the rec club trustees are going to be in the loop with the designs as they progress. And if they see anything questionable, those points can be raised at that time.
Yeah, I mean, my only question would be is, as part of this grant, are the sidewalks part of the grant, or is it just the skate park? I mean, because it's just the skate park, then that's the only thing you're gonna need the public access.
Right. So some of the sidewalk is part of the skate park also. We're looking specifically at the sidewalk from the hub. No, so the hub connecting to the skate park and over to the pavilion, we're looking at it being a multi-use sidewalk. So it would be much wider than a normal sidewalk. The initial design that Chris proposed, which again, they're gonna be reworking, is be about 11 feet wide. And it would have like 2 or 3 skate features on it to, one, it would provide diversity, and like if a skater wants to be antisocial and just wants session one thing, it would give that. So that sidewalk is not a problem. The other one, I'm not confident that, I don't know that sidewalks are necessarily part or not part of the grant. But Frida, you might be able to speak to this. My feeling is that the infrastructure around increasing the access to the skate park, like driveways and parking lots, are part of the grant. So like, right, so if we were building a new building, which this can be used for land acquisition or building brand new buildings, then you would also use this grant to, you know, clear a parking lot. Frida, can you speak if you know specifically if the sidewalk would be covered by the grant?
That's an excellent question. I don't know right off. I certainly will get clarity on that. To be honest, my inclination would be probably not for a sidewalk, but I will get clarity so that we know for sure.
Great.
I mean, it seems like the way you've described the sidewalk, it may not necessarily be a sidewalk. It could be just part of the infrastructure of the skate park if you're doing details and designs that isn't a typical sidewalk. It seems like you might be able to conclude it.
At least one will be definitely qualifying because it's going to be part of the skate park, but also a fantastic sidewalk.
Right.
And great for people to just traverse.
Okay.
So it'll be a shorter stint of sidewalk that is going from West Street. And I know I've also talked to Frida previously about before we had the idea, before Chris showed up and was like, look at this idea for these cool multi-use like paths. I was thinking of the VOREC grant, which I mentioned earlier, which does not pay for skate parks, but it does pay for accessibility increasing at parks and sidewalks or paved pathways would qualify for that.
So what are you specifically looking for us tonight?
I'm bringing it up. I was hoping that other rec club members would be here so there could be an open conversation. Great. A conversation and so that we could, you know, bring it forth because it's also a fairly significant ask that we're bringing to the rec club individual. I don't know if you guys need to give me the official approval for me to seek this easement or not.
I mean, I think we have to sign off on it.
Yeah, I mean, we would be, essentially, it's just sort of, there have been internal conversations and this is bringing it into the public realm so we can have the discussion since it is a very large project and will change from what people can see here on the screen. Part of it in terms of select board would be approval to have our attorney draft up changes to the deed. But
Well,
there's
there's no changes to the deed. That deed that you have there, that you've got on there is just for the skating rink, not the skate park, I don't think.
Skate park, not skating rink. A skate park.
Yeah, I know, but this one.
That one for the rink was in.
This one is for the rink. That was done in 2001. So
Correct.
that's not the one we're changing. We need to create a new one.
Correct.
Exactly,
Okay.
Yeah.
So we'd be
Yeah, that was
hiring
the
an
example.
attorney.
Yeah, well, I was
to write
reading
the
that
new
one.
Right.
If that's just an example of the history of it.
Try to make it make sense.
Yeah.
We,
That's all.
so we'd be hiring an attorney and any attorney fees that we pay for would also go towards the match that we need for this overall grant as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing is gonna be the rec club and their approval.
Yeah.
You know, going forward, because they're the ones that have to get the public utility access. I mean, I have no problem doing that. That's what it's gonna take.
I think it'd be a conservation easement is what it would end up being, because I think we technically have a utilities easement at the
And
moment.
you would mention something that I wasn't part of the discussion. I've been reading it in the emails and I apologize. I've been busy and I haven't attended all the meetings, but we had started out way back. April. Maybe, was, you came to us with a 50-year proposal.
I did, yes.
And now it's in perpetuity, because the skating rink is, I think, is a run out time. I don't think they're.
It's not.
It isn't?
It's not.
Because when we did the one in 78 for you can see it been around a long.
Yeah.
The one for the tennis courts.
Yeah.
That one ran out. Now those are now owned by the rec club.
Yeah.
now. And I thought the skating rink was the same, but I don't. remember.
When I recently discussed it with the LWCF, because at different points, there's been internal conversations with like, well, what if we came to the select board with like a land trade or something like that? But when I asked that question to LWCF, they said, no, that land is now owned by the town forever.
Yeah, I mean, not that we're gonna take it down or anything.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
You know.
No, but even if the skate rink, and then like, reading through the documents, the skating rink like has to stay in a certain working order, otherwise they're like, we get fined, like it's a whole, Yeah, it's a lot. But no, the skating rink is, that land is, there's no run out time. Yeah.
Do rec club trustees wish to speak to this at all this evening? I know that Dave and Porter and Joel are here, but, or is it something that you're wishing to
You guys
discuss?
are still discussing.
Yeah,
I feel that we should discuss it more, because I have some concerns after hearing things
okay.
that I want to talk with Porter and David about.
So come back to us.
Is that
I mean, well, we can give initial, if, as long as the rec club's agreeable to
Yeah.
it. I mean, there's
The approval.
I'm not opposed
trustees.
to a skate park. I have never
Yeah.
been opposed to a skate park, but when I hear you from where the skate park's gonna go, and now why don't we just take the whole front off?
Mhm. Well, no, I was asking that question,
Well,
not that.
yeah,
it has to be
that's
yeah.
why I just was, it was
Mhm.
made in public, and I just said, my God, that was kind of like when in 2000, early 2000, when Legion wanted to say, can we just buy everything?
Yeah, right.
And we said, no.
And so it would be, we are not, the goal is for the rec club to maintain ownership. And so the only change that would be, and so it is a significant change, which is why it's coming up, but the change is just that it is now public access. So that anything that goes on wherever we identify is just that it's open to recreation from forever.
Yeah, it's not a transfer of land or
Correct.
anything like that. And
It's just
and the only
ensuring
reason-
it's-
But it limits
That's
it if the rec club ever
Wanted to sell it or something.
Right.
either decides,
Right.
okay, we're no longer gonna be the rec club, or there's not
Yeah.
gonna be a rec club there.
Yeah,
then
that's-
it's what they can.
And that's why the LWCF wants the
To
easement.
give,
Exactly.
give
Yeah.
the board, and the public a little history, it was 8 years ago, they thought maybe that would be the spot for the new fire station. And I was ready, I made a public statement before when I was on the board at a zoning board meeting upstairs, and said, I'll see you in court if you sell it to the fire station.
Yeah.
And I was fire member, because they didn't honor, and back in, I want to say 1980, Ken Weston and I were very adamant, went to this planning commission and tried to get that, we wanted that land in the ROC, recreation. It was REC, recreation, and they put it in the ROC, the first 100 feet back. So it could have gone, and it passed 3 to 1 to make it REC, recreation, so it never could be sold to a developer. And Ken's I've been a trustee for 40+ years, and Ken was for many years. To give you guys a little history, was our worry in the rec club was, if you look back through its bylaws of 100 years, that if I was a developer, let's say I was a builder, and David was a real estate investor, and Porter, and I'm not saying, and Porter was a housing advocate, and said, you know what, we're gonna sell it to a dummy corporation of our own. And we could, and that's why we were so adamant about, it needs to be state in recreation for the rest of its life. It can't be slid off, and the rec club president and no one else would have known it. We could have sold it, said, no, it's been sold to AYC Development Corporation. And who's that? Oh, it's Rosen, Bouvier and Knight. And they're gonna put in housing in here. And that's why we never, and they didn't want to honor that. I was so glad when the fire station decided to go across the road. And then in the planning commission now, it is an REC. The whole thing, not just the first 100 feet beyond the West Street. And
Doesn't mean it can't change.
Well, this would ensure that it can't.
Exactly.
This would like
Well, that's what
guarantee
that
that it
area-
can't. Otherwise, we'd
that
have to pay
spot.
like a lot of money. Yeah, that's like kind of a lot of money to the state, is my understanding.
but no, now the rec club bylaws
Nothing's ever
state
final.
the 10 acres on West Street will always be designed for recreation.
Yeah, and I'll just echo what Joel said, is that, the rec club board, has been supportive of this being a skate park, is supportive of, trying to help Taylor acquire the grants, which is great, but we're super committed to whatever the legalese that goes into that say, that it's recreation, period. That's what we want to see. So the trustees need to talk about, what our level of comfort is with what that looks like, but we want to see it in recreation. So
That is completely, that is what this easement is. It is nothing else. It ensures that it's never anything but recreation in like a really big way. Yeah.
If you look at that deed, it was signed in 2001.
You.
Yeah. And I'd like to see who witnessed it and notarized it too.
Well, because when we negotiated with Legion,
Yep.
the Legion wanted to buy everything behind everything all the way north to the trailer park. We said, we'll give you 20 feet. And they ended up getting 20 feet. They didn't buy everything. Can you imagine what it would look like if they bought everything from us?
Different for significantly, and that's what, again, we're not.
No sod busters,
Yeah.
no skating rink, no little league fields, nothing.
Absolutely, it would be a huge service to the community because the recreational space over there is so crucial. It's so important and it's such
Where
a
you
huge
find 10
asset.
acres in the middle of the village.
Yeah.
For recreation.
Absolutely, and so
Maybe
it's
another town looks like it.
absolutely, and so this is just further to ensure that that is what this stays forever.
Yeah.
So I guess I mean, the way I look at it is you guys can move forward with that, and then once the rec club trustees make a decision, then you can come back to us and then we can figure out what we have to do from that point.
Okay.
So
I
it's
mean, that's
a
to me.
consensus to move forward.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
I think
and so
so.
our grant is due March 15th, so it'll be
Can you put it in without having the?
yes, we can put
public
it in without the
announcement.
legal document change. We just need a letter of commitment from the rec club that says that they
They agree to
they
support
agree
the
to it.
project.
Yeah, they support and they agree to it, and like legal documents take time and we're working on it. But if there's also language that says that it's specifically always to be recreation, I have not been able to come across that, but that might matter also in terms of this
Well, it's in
grant.
the zoning is REC, but that doesn't mean that they can't change that.
Well, he said in the bylaws of the recreation
I thought
club.
we changed that in the bylaws. I'd have to.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what your bylaws are. but-
Porter's more up on that than I am.
Which I suppose again, and then, but even if that matters, it would then be an issue because it's the concern, of course, from the
Right.
state is, well, what if the rec club sells it?
Right, what if they change the bylaws?
Yeah, and like, what if they close? What if they fold? Then it doesn't matter anymore.
The
And so
state's
that's
gonna
the
want what the
insurance.
state's gonna want.
Yeah,
no
so that's
matter
why it's the insurance of, it has to be like owned by the state, owned by the town, or a public access easement.
I told you guys that, give you a little history lesson here real quick. My dad was a rec club member until he died. And it was 65 when they decided to build a new union school.
Yeah.
If you ever drive down West Pleasant Street and get at the corner of Liberty and West Pleasant and look across, where do you see the road to Mount Abe, right?
Yeah.
They wanted a 60-foot right of way through that horse rink, through that rec field.
Mm,
And my dad said, we'll give you 12 feet for a sidewalk. That's all you're getting.
yeah.
And can you imagine that rec club would not be, it'd be all housing now.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
It would have cut that field right in two.
Yeah. No, the
They wanted a
prioritization.
60-foot right of way to the high school.
I think the prioritization of the recreation is
And
huge.
That's where I get a little personal when I say.
Yeah. No, and
I
I
want to slice it all up.
I absolutely
You know, I
understand,
never
Joel.
wanted to see it. When they were going to build a fire station there, I was about to flip it.
Yeah.
When firemen are going, what am I doing? I'm going, no.
Yeah.
Build it somewhere else, but you're not building it on this sacred.
I absolutely understand, and I think we are aligned in that. I only ever want it to be recreation.
and
The
I
goal
want, yeah,
is,
recreational.
the goal is recreation. It's, and yeah, this grant makes it really hard, so it can never be that. And it, helps move this project forward. But no, I only ever want it to be recreation because it's such a huge, asset to the community.
Okay.
So,
Thank you.
we've had
So
some
we're
goals.
gonna, you wanna, do we have to have a vote on that?
No, I think it's just general consensus.
Yeah, those
To
are
move forward,
great
and I
plans.
think
I
we'll
totally
just,
understand.
once it's drafted, or once it's approved from the Bristol Rec Club, it'll come back to us just for approval in terms of,
And hiring, getting
Yeah.
the attorney.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So then the
Do
next
stuff.
goal, so Porter, Joel, and Dave will meet and converse.
Yeah.
To make a decision.
And make a decision, and then once they have that decision and have given that to me, I'll come back and say, decision made,
yes,
can I
Mhm.
talk to
Yeah.
a lawyer, or
Mhm.
can Ian talk to a lawyer on my behalf?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so
Great.
much.
Can you send me the drawings for that, to my email?
They are not public yet,
Oh, okay.
because they were just drafts and we scrapped them all.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Took to 3 and tell them go back and make 4
Yeah.
by taking pieces, which was the reason for the meeting.
Yeah, exactly. It was first drafts of everything, and they said, and so the community, the like 20+ people there were like, we like these things and we want different. So they're working on different. The next meeting
Okay.
will be at the end of, middle of March,
Okay,
in which case we'll look at more designs.
okay. All right.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Discussion on federal funding impacts and terrorists for the town of Bristol.
Um,
I hate the word tariffs.
So, right. So it's a combination of things. Kristen Underwood is here as a concerned resident, and you belong to an ad hoc committee group of people that are having an event tomorrow that are discussing potential changes in the federal way of receiving funding that might affect various things in our town. And the discussion tomorrow is more of a broader discussion. Tonight, we're sort of zeroing in on just town-related things. So we have Kristen here, and we also have Frida available, and she's gonna speak to our current grants and where they're at in terms of the funding. We have a lot. Some we are wrapping up, others we're just starting. So it's a combination of things. And Kristen, in her position, has been sort of researching this and has volunteered her time and done some research for the town, just in terms of where some of those funds originate from and what the potential is for those funds not being able to be received. At the moment, it's very up in the air. We're not really sure what's happening. We've spoken to some of the organizations that are handling the funds and are being told pretty much the same thing, where it's sort of an unknown. But I don't know, Frida, do you want to speak? I can share our current grant list. I've sort of hidden a few columns and tidied it a little bit, just to sort of, we'll go through and see where we're at.
Yeah, you can go ahead and put that up on the screen so that everybody can just sort of see what we have going on right now. But I think you really spoke pretty well about the topic at hand. Just to kind of quell any concerns on current awards for your projects in town, I've been in touch with every division of the state that we have current awards for that even could potentially be impacted by the current federal funding freeze or any administration stuff going on right now. And the state is really pretty unanimously saying, we don't have any reason to say that the funding won't be there. We don't know anything that you don't know yet. And to proceed with your projects as you should, with reporting and your scope and schedule and documenting. Just keep doing what you're supposed to be doing, as if your contracts were all still valid and in place, since they are. But they don't have any reason for concern that the funds won't be there. And so the only division that's actually said anything slightly different would be what I call our tree grants, our UFC grants, funding with, I think, A&R money. And they sent an email the first day that this government announcement went out, which I think was like December 28th or something. They sent an email that day saying that because they didn't know what the future looked like for funding, they were opening applicants were now available to submit their first invoice, which we shouldn't have been allowed to until March 31st. So they were just sort of allowing applicants to do that 3 months early, basically, and strongly encouraging you to do so if you had any expenditures to claim, which we did. So we promptly claimed them. I think we're still awaiting seeing those coming into the town funds, but they're claimed and obligated for the town. That was about 13,000. They haven't followed up with anything saying the rest of the funds are frozen or anything. I think that was the state just saying, we've got this money in the bank right now. If you've got invoices, come take it. So we did. So other than that, I have not heard from any divisions saying to pause or scale back or anything like that. My biggest concern would have been kind of our larger ticket items, the MERP stuff and AOT stuff. So far, I haven't heard anything from the MERP stuff, which the MERP stuff and the library award all come out of ARPA funds. And I have not heard anything directly saying that those funds are in danger in any way. And the AOT stuff, just because it funds so many things and it does take a lot of federal dollars that come through the state, but they originate as federal dollars. So that would have been my concern. But I reached out to the AOT department, and though they are very backlogged, they do not have any concern for projects. In fact, the contract that we're waiting for the scoping study is AOT funded. and part of that is federal money. And they actually said that part of the reason that they were delayed in getting us the grant agreement was because they were waiting for those federal funds to be obligated. And that just happened this past week. So that would have been my only concern, and that money just hit the state banks, so to speak. So I don't personally have a direct concern for your ongoing projects that are awarded any grant funds. Now, having said that, I think Kristen is digging a little deeper and looking at a larger budgeting discussion about all federal funds and how those play out in a town way, which you might be surprised to find where they show up. So I think that's kind of what she's looking at. But as far as grants, I feel pretty confident that we're good. Overall, budgeting and planning are always so significant, especially for small towns. So maybe pause a little on taking on new large projects that are not like really necessary. I know we're focusing in the future on water stuff, which is obviously a priority, but maybe any other projects that we're not like really strong on priority list, hold off on just to see what happens in a year or so.
Right. Can you speak a little bit to the tariffs as well? Because that was, we sort of were thinking about that. You had mentioned that previously. And again,
Yeah.
that sort of connects with the water project.
It's another thing that Kristen brought to light, and I think it's a really important and smart thing to be thinking about as far as your long-term budgeting. I don't know how it would impact current projects. I know that a lot of the grant agreements that we sign have baked into them, so to speak, a requirement that we source locally as locally as we can, and U.S. sourcing is actually a requirement of a lot of grants these days. So that kind of, I feel like, saves us a little bit or offers us a tiny bit of protection in the grant projects. I don't know how it will play out in other ways, but it certainly is something to think about for, like, I think across the board town budgets. It's like projects, anything in the DPW. I don't know if any of that stuff is going to be hit with tariffs. I don't know where all that material comes from. So that would be the stuff. Construction would be the stuff that I would worry about. But I'm not an expert, and I don't know. I would be in touch with folks in those industries to see what they think is coming.
Well, Frida, wouldn't we'd see that really when we bond in 26 for the next water improvement. We're going to see that in the bids probably higher because of all the pipe they got to buy. And if it comes with a higher tariff.
Right. So I have a note from Steve Palmer from who's engineering the water line project, and he said, as it pertains to the water system capital improvement projects, we are currently proposing PVC pipe, not ductile iron for all water mains. Unless the town decides to change piping materials, I don't see an impact to the water main pricing, which is the largest item in the project. From what I've been reading, however, other items may be impacted by the tariffs, including things made of ductile iron, copper, brass, and stainless steel. Therefore, if enacted, tariffs likely will be an impact on the cost of fire hydrants, saddles, curb stops, corporation stops, valves, risers, and copper service lines. We obviously could not have anticipated this potential increase within the current cost estimates, as this was something not any of us could have anticipated months ago. Keep in mind that a percentage of these items are sourced and manufactured in the US, which is helpful, but most are made in China and elsewhere. It is impossible to tell at this point how much of the impact tariffs will have on the overall project costs, but as the imported products go up in price, I expect the demand for similar products sourced and manufactured in the USA will also increase.
Yeah, of course.
So we obviously, we've put in, or we're working on the budget, and have a bond for a certain amount. So we'll just have to see how that gets affected, like you said, in a couple of years.
And yeah, things could change, but I wouldn't want to cheapen up the water system by putting plastic in the ground without at least knowing, okay, we bid it side by side, and ductile iron, and that is, I'm going to say $1 million more to do a project than it in here, and say, okay, do we want, and then what's the longevity, plastic versus ductile iron,
right? And
say, do we want to cheapen it up or not?
Well, I think for some of those things, it would just be, we've already started this project. We've done phase 1 in Pine Street. So we already have plastic in the ground, and we've made that decision. So I think, like you said, for the water mains, those are always going to be, we weren't going to be using ductile iron anyway. So for the most expensive ticket, but it sounds like for the other pieces, that's where we're going to see possible changes. Looking back at this list here.
But when the state approves our money, I mean, they told us we were gonna get 50% from Pine Street, and we got big fat zero from them, because, oh, you didn't spend enough.
Right.
I love their calculations.
Well, we have a much better understanding of the calculations than we did back then.
We don't have a better understanding of the state, but.
No. We're getting closer though.
Okay.
For this first one on the list, this is the grant, or it was a loan that we received for the service line inventory. And so we received 36,000 of this last February. And I just submitted within the last couple of weeks the remainder of that. And I've actually asked them to see if the federal funding will change any of that to get that reimbursement.
Am I under the understanding Joe reported to us, Joe and Valerie did in October of 23, or maybe it was January of 24, to get started. And we were approved for 91,000. So we've only gotten 36 of it.
Correct, because the project was still ongoing. It hadn't been submitted yet. And so it was getting the project wrapped up, or is
Pretty much
getting
wrapped up
closer.
in October.
Correct. And so that's when, and it wasn't submitted and I submitted it. Because I want that money.
Right,
But
no,
so
we paid the bill.
yes,
We
and it's
paid big time
until
to
the
do the inventory.
project completely closes out, we don't get 100% of the reimbursement, but we get very close. But we're keeping an eye on
Okay.
that. So I've asked them about that, speaking with the state, various people about those DWSRF loans. Again, they didn't really have any information of whether it's going to be impacted or not. So, and we're a couple of years out from that project and using those.
So I have just a quick question. The stuff that we've already been awarded for, like Basin Street and that, is that gonna be at risk?
No, those funds are already obligated, so any currently awarded funds should be fine. That we know of. We don't really know what will happen, but I've been directly in touch with each of these departments of the state, and they indicate that there's no reason for concern for the current awards.
Kristen, I'm going to bring up your letter that you submitted today. I don't know, would you like to
Yeah,
speak,
so I just,
speak to this?
sure, I just looked into the sourcing, the ultimate sourcing of the funds to a lot of the grants, the federally sourced grants for town of Bristol, and those include FEMA and US EPA, as well as the Federal Highway Administration and the US Department of Treasury. And so just linking those, and several of them were appropriated through the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act, which was a Biden Act, and also the bipartisan infrastructure law. It's also known as that. And so because that particular funds through that act have been targeted by some of these agencies, and in some cases frozen or clawed back, it just pointed out to me that maybe there's a possibility that Bristol funds could be in jeopardy through those programs. So I included links here to the various sources, if you want to take a further look and investigate. But
This is great. I really appreciate you.
It blows
doing
my
the work
mind
on
they
this.
can try and freeze stuff from 3 years,
I know.
back, and it's like, people have already depended on this stuff. And
exactly,
you're gonna like now take it
They-
away from them, and then
Legally, they can, it's
Right.
just, will the system
it'll get
stop
tied up.
it?
they're tied up for years,
Right. Yeah, that's the problem.
Right.
It'll be tied up.
at least for the next 4 years.
And then, so we'll have to pay these things and then try to get money
Wow.
back.
You gotta pay them, but you gotta have the money to pay them.
Mhm.
Yeah, correct.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
We hang on to our ARPA funds.
Hmm?
Hang on to our ARPA funds. We may have to borrow them and then repay them.
Well, any of this money that's in the state, like the state ARPA money was already given to the state and that can't be taken back. It's the
Right.
stuff that's been appropriated but not
Right.
Actually
dispersed to the
dispersed,
state
right?
yet.
Mhm.
Right.
So I think maybe, am I saying, Ian, that you, Frida, committees like Kristen's and them, when we need to submit quickly, if we can.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, I've asked about that water inventory.
Yeah.
Before, and we've only gotten 36 we've gotten a third, and it's almost 90% done, and we've gotten a third of our
Right.
money for it. I'd like 90% of our money, because it's 90% done.
Oh, yeah. So do I. Yeah, so I think we're gonna obviously keep a close eye on these, and I'll speak tomorrow, at the meeting, for, on the select board side of things, and then obviously we'll learn a lot more in terms of, there's a good group of people attending tomorrow to sort of have that discussion.
I'll mention there's also a state task force looking at this, and I'm keeping tabs on their notes and minutes and recordings, so if I
Right.
hear of anything related to all of these, agencies, I'll let you know.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anything else on that? Anything for the public out there in Zoom land? Don't see any hands up or anything. Okay. Okay. Continued discussion of the livestock running at large ordinance. Where are we with that? Thank you.
Sure, thank you. Bye.
Where are we with that, Jessica? You and yours.
No, I passed it on.
I talked to
Yeah,
Kevin,
Kevin.
he's, because people wanted to find out if there was, other options, so Kevin gave me an email of some of the other options,
sure.
which he had forwarded, but it's, they're all antiquated, ancient finds that are like a slap on the wrist.
The pound keeper.
Yeah.
I like that.
That's how antiquated they are. Yeah, $3 and $10 fines, and that means nothing to most people.
Can buy a fence post for $3.
And then there's,
No, there's not a lot here that would really work for us, unfortunately.
Right.
We have to have the ability, as we've discussed previously, to impound livestock, which we don't really, depending on the size of the livestock.
I've been in the town garage with the trucks in there. There's enough room to put a cow or horse in there.
Wow, my salt shed is almost empty. We got plenty of room down there.
Right, just a certain time of year.
How
for
are you gonna
livestock.
get it there? Bruce riding it? Yeah, you could be the Canadians.
Yeah,
Canadian Mounties.
right.
Well,
I don't
So
know.
Kevin
I don't know.
basically says, really makes sense to adopt an ordinance. Which I'm really not for, but I understand what we're trying to do.
Yeah,
I really do not want to create more work for Bruce and his guys.
Right.
I really do not. I mean, so whatever, if we're gonna go that route, we need to make sure that the select board is on the hook for making decisions on stuff like this, similar to what we do with the dogs.
yeah.
Um,
I know that Peker was hesitant the last time we spoke about this in terms of creating an ordinance for
one
potentially
person.
a single.
a single
bad
area.
actor. And so that was part of our discussion, and that's why this sort of went to Kevin Brown for discussion. I don't know, Bruce, you've asked for ordinances to be updated to give you the ability, to give you more ability. And it's not that we're creating more work for you, but you have the ability to have more authority over it.
Well, we should have something, so the town has some ability to address some of the issues.
Yeah.
At some point, chickens.
I know. I said that.
Listen to that on the news coming in tonight.
Everybody rolled their eyes at me when I said that.
So you shouldn't focus on one type.
Right.
It's like we've got to look at big picture and future possibilities.
Yeah.
But yes, we do occasionally get calls about chickens, and I'm like, there's no ordinance.
You got a
I mean,
freezer?
but that's the whole point.
Yeah.
With this ordinance, Kevin said, you can't be limited. You have to encompass.
Right, and then you have
Oh.
to have a way to, if you do have an animal that's loose, how are you going to?
Where are you gonna impound it? How are you gonna
How are you
catch
gonna
it? How are you
impound
gonna
it?
get it where
What are you gonna do? If we don't have a facility, then we're going to have to contract with someone.
contract with
You
somebody?
can do
Yeah.
in neighboring towns.
What's that?
You can have them impounded to neighboring towns.
Yeah, but there's still gotta be somebody. I don't know what towns have what, but so, a lot of the times you can contract with a farmer, somebody local, but.
I've been thinking about this the last time the meeting is.
Yep.
Did we? I won't say when I say we, I'm just abroad, we, as a town, miss something in the livestock ordinance for zoning. So, you know, if I'm gonna have a farm, and I'm not thinking where I'm milking 150 cows or any cows, but I'm gonna have a few heifers or something, and I'm gonna apply for a permit, or they don't even have to have a permit, I don't know. I'm playing stupid here, and I do that very well, don't take a lot of practice. But say, okay, if you're going to have cows, or you're gonna have horses, then you'll have a proper fence. For zoning purposes, you're gonna have to have that, or you're not getting a permit. I don't know, Chris, you were zoning, you were not out there for
From a
years.
zoning standpoint, if they follow the ag practices, the accepted ag practices, they're ag exempt. And that, somebody has 4 horses, typically that falls under ag exemption, as long as they're using that yard for the livestock. So there's absolutely zero in zoning about fencing around livestock. It's really around, zoning is about the uses and the structure itself. I mean, we don't regulate fences in the village for people.
Right.
They know nothing about animals.
No. Right, I just thought of that, I just said maybe, you know, I mean, I don't know what the Vermont's livestock ag practices are.
Yeah.
If you're gonna have an animal, you have to have it fenced in, or what, I don't know. Waiting, okay.
Yeah. I mean, is it something, Chris, is it something that we could address through zoning?
No.
No?
That'd be unwieldy.
Your zoning administrator is part-time. And to expect your zoning administrator to go out and trudge around a 100-acre parcel to see if there's a hole in the fence, that's absolutely unrealistic.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
Okay.
It needs to be an ordinance.
Yeah. Okay.
It gives some teeth to the law enforcement.
And so also I've read that the select board has to have something in writing in order for the police to respond. To go by.
Well,
If they're loose and they're a danger, the police could be called. Technically, down that area, it's Vermont State Police. That's their area. It's not.
But for the town of Bristol, we're animal.
Yeah, I know. They punt. VSP punts a lot.
So say an animal gets out and gets hit or hurts somebody. But what's gonna happen then?
Get civil suit. Because the town's not responsible. That person who owns that horse is responsible.
And I know that for a fact back when working on my dad and uncle's farm. When we were farming, we had a cow that got out on the state to 116, the car ended up hitting it. And not me, but my family was responsible for the damages because the cow got out.
Right.
So
Sure,
we're
yeah.
responsible for the damages for that vehicle that does. Yeah.
And any damages to the person.
Yeah, any medical or anything like that would be also covered under that as well.
If for some reason they were killed, you're responsible. Mhm.
So is there anything in regards to the maintenance of the fence or any, because I also read, keeping any livestock, you have to have at least 4.5-foot fence maintained.
There's nothing, I mean, there's
That's
nothing.
through the Vermont legislature,
There's nothing.
You saw that where?
right here.
I see it on your phone, I don't know where that is, so.
The legislator.vermont.gov.
I mean, did that come from I'd like to see something from what the ag department says, you know, agriculture says you must, maybe that's where they got that from, I don't know. Sorry, I don't know that, but.
So I know in the past, we talked about proper fencing.
Right.
Everybody's theory on a proper fence is different.
Mhm.
Is there any way that the select board could come up with the proper fencing when you have livestock?
Boy, I would. I don't know, but I'd say no. I would say we can't address, okay, you need to have a 6-foot versus, a 4-foot fence or whatever. I don't think so.
I think the ordinance that we looked at like 4 or 5 of them from surrounding towns, and it didn't specify it like that. It said that, that whoever the agent was, like if we said that Bruce was the one who was going to look at the fence, or AZ, or whoever we said was going to go look at the fence, that they would look at it and say, was it adequate to keeping the animal in it? So it's just their judgment, but it didn't have any like measurements or anything like that.
You know, if you're gonna have chickens, you wouldn't need a 6-foot fence, maybe you need a 2-foot fence. Have deer, you wouldn't want a 4-foot fence.
Or an
Like they do
8-foot
down-
fence.
Or, well, they have, follow deer down on Quaker Quarry Road in
Yeah.
Middlebury.
Munger, Tater Hills,
And, you know, I think there's a 12, that's a 10-foot.
That's at least a 10
10 foot,
fence.
10, 12-foot fence, yeah.
I think it has to do more with what kind of animal you're trying to fence in. Now, well, fence gotta be a standard size.
Joe,
Yeah, go ahead.
obviously I came in late. I passed that around, everybody saw that.
Yeah, the police log where they went February 7th.
Right, well, you were looking for it.
Yeah.
Right, and from what I got from Jeff,
I've already seen it.
the Buska family, which is right on the corner.
Yeah.
He went running out when he saw the horses, due to the fact that he had just this summer put in a septic mound system. And horses can do a job on that, but I don't know if it was brought up as to what scared the horses back in or whatever.
Amanda, the person's horses got grain to,
Lure them back in.
lure back.
Was that supposedly Jeff said, which I don't know, the thing that got him back in was the town plow came by. And the racket they made, they went running back in.
Colby did say that he saw some horses down there when he was plowing down there.
And you wanna talk about problems, first of all, if the town plow hit the horse, okay, that's gonna be a problem. And that plow would be out of commission or be sitting there for an hour or two while you were doing a report and everything. And a lot of people in town would probably be upset that we didn't have a plow on the road too.
It's gotten, let me say out of hand, but it's gotten ridiculous that this person can't take care of their livestock. Plain and simple.
That's our plan.
And
Yeah, that's.
they're kind of going stub our nose to it because we're not, but you gotta see where we're coming from. You gotta get a trailer or we maybe, or something to put them in and.
I mean, I, obviously, you know, I have horses and that, and I have a wire fence, but it's electrified. And I don't know if it's about 4 feet, you know, but
They
actually,
maintain it.
oh, yeah.
Keep it maintained.
I was wondering if you guys were all panicking when I came in with horses, and you had the previous horses there, if they, ours were gonna get out all the time.
Yes, yes. No, actually, we know people, some people take care of them the way they're supposed to, and some find loopholes. You know, you take care of your horses.
Yeah, they haven't, well, I should say it, they probably got out now, but.
But yeah, so, but I, like you said, since this has been going on since we bought our house in, well, we bought it in 2007. I think it was a
This
nice
person
little
moved in there.
beautiful,
Yeah, this
beautiful,
person moved in
and
there
then she moved in like,
12, maybe
yeah,
10 or 12,
2 years later.
2 or 3 years.
And ever since she moved in, I have, even from Facebook and memories, posting on the horse, like loose horses, their footprints, like that deep in our yard. I mean, I think something has to be done. I don't know exactly what it is, whether it is, like, do I have to do a civil suit?
Technically, yes.
Yeah, that's what you should, guys, as a leader, should do.
That's what I was just gonna say too, to get that person's attention. It may come down to that, to make that person understand that if my horses get out all the time, I'm gonna be responsible for X. And it's gonna cost me money. Most time when people get, just my own opinion, start shelling out their own money, they start thinking, how am I gonna do this so I don't have to shell that money?
Well,
And
and it may be, you know, if she has an insurance, you know, homeowners insurance, whatever, they can drop her.
Yeah.
You know, if she doesn't have the right coverage, if they don't know she has horses, you know, all kinds of sorts of stuff like that can happen. But, you know, ultimately it's a civil suit. If you want to get for damages of done in property and she's not, they, whatever, are not voluntarily offering to pay for it, that's what it's gonna take. But, I mean, Kevin says, you know, the best thing to do is if we want to go that route is to do an ordinance. And he would just want to have to beef it up and put in some stuff in there.
Hold on, Jimmy. So, I mean, he didn't give us some idea if the ordinance says town's gotta do X, okay? What does X mean? You gotta transport those horses to somewhere and we have to.
Well, he's gonna have, you know, I'm not exactly sure, you know, but there's gotta be a process, you know, for us to go through that includes some kind of impoundment.
Could the ordinance say, okay, we hire, there must be people around it, transport.
Well, right, we
And
would,
said all that cost is gonna be
That's
borne by
right.
selling the horse if she does,
right,
this owner of the horse doesn't pay the fine.
right.
Well, could we ask, so New Haven has, well, there's a couple towns around us that have these ordinances. Can we ask how they?
I think we ought to explore this. I really do.
Because if they have a place, maybe we can say, like, can we add ours into?
Yeah. Jimmy, you have a question?
Has anyone from the town spoken to this lady?
I believe Ruth has.
From the town officials.
I have not.
None of us.
And what's her attitude? Like up yours, more or less?
I've spoken to.
So you have a problem.
You know,
So you have to go to legal.
I just know, we've had the same issues with her when
They
it was in town.
Yeah, it was in the village, yeah.
Mhm,
use their horse ride
mhm.
for most of the time.
And we
With
did,
good fence.
and we did,
No, they didn't
we
get out
did
of it.
finally speak to her and said, you need to move her.
And we got him.
Well, no, she was still here, but she was not allowed to use the way she was.
Joe,
Yeah.
again, I'm not looking for work, but whether it's a volunteer position or whatever, as far as fencing, Diane Saunders, she's a farrier, she knows horses probably better than anybody in town. And I'm sure she has had run-ins with.
Oh, I know she has.
I'm just saying that I wouldn't mind if her, you know, you have to ask her if you need somebody to look and say, these fences aren't, you know, I mean, I've got horses.
You don't need
I've had
Diane to
one
do
for
that.
40 years.
Anybody can tell that they're not.
Like Jessica
She doesn't
said,
listen to
check
everybody.
the surrounding towns.
I think we,
You gotta get an ordinance going. It's not fair that Bruce has to spend their time chasing animals. That's not what you should be doing.
He's still gonna have to wind up chasing them, but there might be a process.
This time we can do it fine.
Right.
yeah, so I think Jessica brings up a good point. We reach out to, you said New Haven and other towns, you,
Yeah, I have the original ones that Val sent.
maybe you could forward them to Ian, and we can at least get that.
Yeah.
And for
Well, it's
better
just
term,
really, I mean,
to
the
get
one that we
serious-
have,
to
you know,
get
Kevin
serious
just
with-
has to, you know, he needs to do some wordsmithing on it.
I don't know.
So to
what
speak.
horse-
There is one, again, I'm trying to think of the name of it, right on 125, Addison.
County Commission sale.
The commission sales.
They have their trailers and again, maybe they would say, oh yeah, you pay us $100 a horse and we'll take them and we'll store them over there. I
They
know
might
that's-
store them right to the auction block.
Yeah.
Hold on.
And if they don't pay the fine in a hurry from there, it goes.
Well, and that's some of the consequences if, you know.
Easy.
Everybody seems very excited about killing these poor
No.
horses.
I just want them to be taken care of.
I know, I'm just joking.
But I have read if, no, if they're brought to,
The commission sales,
Addison Consent.
Yeah.
ACCS.
or just a place of like a shelter or something.
I've been by there lots of times, never seen a horse that way, but they sell
No, I've
cows
seen-
3 days a week.
Oh,
or
yeah,
3
yeah.
days a week, Saturdays and
Um,
Thursdays.
They have the trailers, I mean,
Yeah.
they get them right in and.
There's
and
plenty of
I'm
horse
sure-
people that have trailers.
Right.
It's just a matter of hiring, getting somebody who'd be willing to hire
You
them.
gotta have the law behind it. Jerry's had it for you. So why don't you forward the list to our interim town manager, and he can at least, Ian, I'm gonna ask you to speak as the select board member.
Yeah, I know.
What do you think?
Yeah, I think the options that Kevin presented in terms of what's in state statute aren't really gonna work. It's not gonna help the police department here for any kind of legal area. So I think we reach out. I mean, we've talked about this a lot and gone back and forth and are trying to find the best solution.
We hate to create something for one bad person, but
Right.
we have to look at the future that there may be more.
Right.
But I mean, seeing one of them horses get onto a trailer and gone, maybe we'll just light a fire under somebody's butt and say, I've got to put some good fencing in. Maybe I'll sell one horse and put that towards the fencing.
And address other livestock.
Yes.
Address other
Oh,
livestock.
yeah.
Which
Oh,
it
yeah.
does.
It's not, yeah, it would be,
Yeah.
it's called the livestock, not the horse stock.
So,
Yeah.
so do we want to have it where I'm sort of reaching out to other towns, but at the same time, we're having Kevin take a look at it, our attorney, just to sort of see how he would change the language, how,
Because there's the process that we wrote down, and then we also moved the fine schedule to an
Correct.
appendix, so
Yeah.
we could look at those two.
yeah, and I
I
don't
mean,
know.
he needed to get some more wordsmithing on the process and the
Yes.
due process and the impoundment and stuff like that.
And I don't know,
I don't think I gave him
how-
the fine sheet, I just gave him a.
you know, there was discussion about how detailed, how much detail can you put in an ordinance in terms of what should be happening. I was looking at our dog one, but it's a sort of adequate
Mhm.
fencing and things like that. You know, it's very broad language, and I don't know how specific we can get within an ordinance.
Adequate fencing means it keeps them in.
Right, I know.
Exactly.
Adequate
Just
fencing.
from a zoning, I think words like adequate are horrible.
Oh,
Right.
yeah, but
Yeah.
unfortunately, that's
Right,
illegal,
so-
because you can't be
That's that lawyer-
specific.
that lawyer
But
term
can
that
we
knows
define
about
it in
2
our
hours
ordinance?
and
if
say
we-
no.
Well, it
if we
depends,
have
because
information?
Adequate fencing for a horse and a cow may be different than adequate fencing for a chicken or a
Right.
pig.
Right,
And also there
So-
might be multiple options. So I mean, electric fencing is one, but you could use wooden fencing too, but it would have to be high and, I mean, there's
Well, it'd
lots
have
of
to be
different
maintained.
options, right?
Yeah, there must be some sort of fencing freaking standard out there. I mean, God, we've been.
That's why I think we will reach out to the ag department too.
When I had horses, we had a what would they call the breakaway fence, so every other post wasn't in the ground, so if the horse got scared, it would let them out without hurting them.
Right.
But it was, you know, it was electrified initially, and once they knew it was electrified, I could turn that power off.
Yeah.
And then once in a while, turn it on, and they wouldn't, you know, they wouldn't get out.
I mean,
But-
and for Vermont's statutes, there's humane and proper treatment of animals. There's adequate is all over this.
Right.
Adequate shelter, all livestock and animals that are to be predominantly maintained in an outdoor area should be provided with adequate natural shelter or adequate constructed
Adequate
shelter.
water, adequate
You
food,
know, so
adequate.
That's how a lot of this is written, but I don't know if,
We can ask Kevin that.
yeah, can we be more, if we, similar to zoning, there are certain standards and setbacks and things like that. Can we provide something in an ordinance that would say, this is what needs to happen if you're keeping this kind of animal? I mean, it starts to get a little bit more detailed then, but
Right.
maybe it's worth us doing that, having it in there. But I
I
don't
guess,
know.
but then whoever your
That-
agent is,
That's
it
right.
has to be out there like with a measuring
Yes,
tape
I
or, you know. So sometimes it's better to say adequate, because adequate means if they're out, it wasn't. Or also that a reasonable person, so you know, your horse is this tall and your fence is this tall, would be like, oh, they'll just step over. So I think
Yeah.
that's why they use adequate, is
Yeah.
like a reasonable person would say this
Yes.
isn't enough.
Okay, all right, so
But,
we
but I
have,
mean, we can look and see what the other
Yeah.
ones have done.
Dennis,
I mean, I think you looked at a lot, but it seems like there
They say
wasn't.
adequate,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Dennis, you had one more question?
Nothing to do with horses this time.
Okay, moving on.
No, this is, I'm sure the board was probably over here, but on TV, Shelburne, the town of Shelburne is now putting an ordinance for chickens. How
Oh,
many
yeah.
you can have and all this,
Oh,
which
yeah.
is, I guess that you say there's a problem with chickens too.
Well, there are.
There's been a few phone calls. We're not at the level of the problem. But
looking at your ordinance, we should be thinking about this before it becomes a problem.
Yeah.
Right, Shelburne is doing it
Yeah, I heard
right
it on the
now.
news.
Right.
I mean, the more people you get in a condensed area, the more complaints you're gonna have. I mean, when people have free range chickens, they go wherever they wanna go and nobody
I got
can.
a free range freezer at home.
Okay.
Stop trying to
All right.
kill all the.
So
Okay.
why don't you send me New Havens?
Okay.
You've got New Havens.
Yeah.
And the fines, because I don't think I had that.
Yeah.
And then I
send-
can give it to.
I'll
Kevin.
send you both Valerie's
Okay.
original email where she
Great.
put them in there.
Oh, hang on,
So the
Teresa.
USDA does have a fence guideline, by the way.
What's that?
The USDA actually has fencing guidelines for all the different animals, different types of fencing, how high it should be, how far the posts need to be apart.
Okay.
So, and it covers horses, sheep, goats, deer, so, which are your large livestock.
Should do that. Send that to me, Chris,
Okay.
because then I'll give it to Kevin and say, maybe we can incorporate this.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't think you.
Yeah, I
can
see
in
that.
there.
Teresa, you got a question?
Well, I just, yeah,
Please go
because
ahead.
this has gone on for so long, is there a way that the town could send a letter just kind of addressing this situation? Because yes, an ordinance, you got to get an ordinance in place, but these people have been dealing with this for a long time. I guess I just, on the outside looking in, it's kind of like, could a letter from the town saying, listen, you got to keep your horses in, and I certainly don't want my son plowing over them, plowing on Carlston Road.
Yeah.
We could send a letter, but if there's no teeth behind it, they'd just likely ignore it.
And Teresa, you might not have heard, but Bruce said that he has spoken to her on behalf of the town, but that it didn't make a difference.
Okay. Well, it's just a thought. It just seems like this whole ordinance thing has gone on for so long that it's kind of like, oh,
I know.
you know, we just need to do one thing or another.
Yeah.
I agree with
Working
you.
on
Okay. Thanks, Teresa. Okay. So we're
Moving on.
moving on with that one.
Yes, I'll forward those other examples to you guys.
Okay. Number 13, continued discussion on statewide municipal code of ethics, Act 171. Appointment of a town ethics liaison to the state ethics.
Okay. Get the information on this. I got it in here.
We all just have to take the training.
Correct. So the training side,
And is that all, when I was reading it, it's like all the select board members, all the department heads, not the employees.
it's essentially, I've made my little list here. Town administrator, town clerk, town treasurer, assistant town clerk and assistant treasurer, administrative assistants, planning and zoning administrator, recreation department director, teen center director, police department chief, community resources specialist,
So pretty much everyone.
fire chief. It's a lot of people. And there's also the planning commission as well. It was recommended. So it's a pretty good group of people. The training is online, it's 45 minutes.
I was gonna say it's an hour, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is there like a date by which we need to do that?
Yes,
June something.
yeah,
Okay. You should probably
Can
know.
you send me that link?
I will.
Fit it in.
So yeah, this is required. And then let me get my details here, sorry. Here.
So, and if you finish it and you make sure you print off your certificate of
Yeah.
completion, because you'll probably have to give it to Ian. So that we
Right.
have it
So it
here.
essentially says, so it's a 45-minute free online ethics training covering municipal code of ethics, the state of ethics commission's role in complaints and available services. How can I document that I completed the online training? You essentially, when you finish the training, you'll be asked to complete a form that asks you to fill your name, municipal title, municipality, email address, and if you choose, the email address of an additional municipal contact. It'll also ask you to answer some questions to check your understanding of the training. The notification email that you have completed the ethics training will then be sent to the email addresses you provided. So we could set it up so the completion of the training is sent to the town administrator, and then that person could, me, I guess, that could then make a record of that And it does need to be done every 3 years. And so we just have to, once that cycle's back around, do it again.
Just thought I was sitting through an ethics
Yeah.
seminar for 45 minutes.
Maybe we learned something new.
So it says, yeah, as of January 1st, 2025, all members have to take this. Municipal officers who are in office on January 1st must complete the training no later than September 25th, 2025, and every 3 years after. Municipal officers who start after January 1st must complete the training within 120 days. But I don't believe there's anyone who fits that bill.
Started, yeah.
Yeah, so we have to do this by September 25th. And we also
But if those who are elected, if they're newly elected in March, do they
Correct.
have 120 days? I would guess.
Yes.
I would guess.
And I don't see anybody, there's no one on the planning commission that would be newly elected. There are people who are continuing.
Is elected and appointed two different words? I mean, two different words, but it's, so if we appoint somebody to fill out a term.
It depends on what position you put.
It would only be planning commission.
Yeah.
That was the recommendation from the state. No other board, committees or commissions would need to take that. I mean, you could voluntarily take it, but there's nothing that requires you to take it if it's outside of what they recommend.
So the chair of the zoning board, DRB,
Yeah.
wouldn't need to take that ethics training.
No, well, no, DRB,
Library board chair would not have to take that.
not according to their list. It would only be, their recommendation was planning commission. There's nothing about development review board. But we could ask.
No.
Yeah.
Their answer would be yes.
It was a long list. It's legislative bodies, quasi judicial bodies, chief administrative.
There's the term right there.
Yeah, they're quasi judicial.
They are,
bodies, so
the library
Kevin
board's
Yeah,
quasi.
it's funny, maybe because not every town has a DRB, planning commission was definitely mentioned in
Yeah.
the materials.
Because in some
DRB.
places, planning
That's
commission
right.
is the zoning
Yeah.
review board, so yeah.
Yeah, so I'll add the DRB to
Yeah.
that, and I don't believe anyone.
Well, quasi-
Sorry, Kevin.
So if you, I mean, next Tuesday from 7 to 7, everybody's gonna be voting for some select boards, some other positions. The library board is very popular right now. That's a quasi, I think if your name's on the ballot to be elected by the voters of the town, I think you ought to take some ethics training.
I don't know. They
Is
weren't.
is that I'm asking the question.
Well,
Is
the
that a
library's not
quasi-judicial.
quasi-judicial. No.
Can I chime in?
Yeah.
You mentioned law enforcement ethics is longer than 45 minutes, so if you're serious about this, you should be doing it every year.
I had to do ethics for my other certifications every 2
I
years.
don't think it's a bad idea.
Yeah.
And if mine is longer than 45 minutes, can I use what I already completed?
Well, that's what I was gonna ask. I mean,
I would think so. We can definitely.
we can
find out.
ask that because I
I
was
don't
gonna say.
mind, doing another one, but.
I mean, I can't imagine there's another 45 minutes of all new stuff that you would learn
Right.
out of the
Well-
one that's longer than 45 minutes.
I
but
mean, I
you
have
never
to
know.
take ethics too, but it's like ethics related to legal malpractice and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So I'm not sure if that would be any
The
different than what
Yeah.
this is.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then wait, do we have to do
Yes.
something else? A liaison?
Correct. So you need to.
Not me.
Appoint a liaison.
About the town administrator. Just, no, it'll go on and on. Not, you're a vote for years to come.
Yeah. I'll go on.
I mean,
and
that
on.
probably makes the most sense.
It makes the most sense.
Because that's who
And-
like Stafford.
Got it, if we're
reports
gonna have it
to.
sent to the town.
Yeah, and
Administrator.
was my recommendation as well.
Okay,
Didn't want another.
okay.
I
If you
didn't want
send
to
the
have
training,
another
I'll do
committee.
it.
Ethics committee here in town.
I
And we
mean,
have.
if you want to be a part of the board, you need to. Yeah, so I would take a motion just to.
Motion
appoint.
is second
Yeah.
to appoint.
I make a motion to appoint the town administrator as our liaison for the
Second.
ethics, whatever.
Or
And everybody to take,
say interim.
Interim, well,
And-
it will be the
and
town.
slash town.
Okay,
administrator,
interim
just so it
slash
covers-
town
It covers both
administrator.
those positions.
to everybody to adhere to the standards of the state, to take it at least every 3 years.
Correct.
Is
And,
that what
and
your motion was too, Michelle? That's what you're asking. Here's the thing is discussion on statewide municipal code, Act 170. I was kind of looking for a motion to all the list that Ian has developed has to take Act 171.
Well, that, we don't have to make a motion for that. The state's telling us.
Yeah,
That has
I
to be
think, I think the
done. We
motion
just
should
need
just
to
be the
appoint the
liaison.
liaison.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
And then it's,
Second.
and then
Okay, there's a motion and a
we're,
second.
yeah, we're recommending that the list that I read. take
We're
the-
recommending because that's what the state told us.
Correct, yes.
If we wanted to go what Bruce was saying, we can't go any less. We can't say, now we're gonna go 5 years. But we could
Could
say
say
every
we have
2
to do
or
it
every
every
year.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, I think that would be a different motion if you did
Right.
wish to propose that. I think it might be
Let's
difficult
take it
because,
first, though,
because
and
boards
see.
will
Take it
change
first
and
and
things
see.
like that, so.
So
Okay.
the whistleblower, before you
Wait a minute.
vote
Yeah,
on
okay.
that, whistleblower protection posting, that's something we have to put up on our
There's
website.
a few things we need to put on the website, which I'm gonna.
Do
be
we have to
working on.
post it here on the bulletin board too, or just on the website?
I believe it's just on the website.
Okay.
But we'll double check, make sure. We just need to collect a bunch of
Usually it's
materials.
just the website.
Yeah,
Okay, there's a motion a second to appoint the town administrator or interim administrator as the state ethics commission liaison. All those in favor, please say aye.
I,
Wanda,
oh, is that it?
sorry, aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Okay. Consider number 14, consider whether to participate in the Vermont 250th anniversary statewide celebration initiative.
This has been on our list for a while. Bringing it back on since we're getting reminders about that. Let me post here what this is.
Okay, there's 250,
Two
And
towns.
I don't know, Sharon, how much you know about this?
what is it, 250?
Two towns. It's 250 years.
Yeah,
No, I was just trying to think, how many towns in the state of Vermont?
252.
252?
Yep.
Okay. I was just looking at the ones who have already approved, and I was like, okay,
Yeah.
that ain't
And
anywhere
it's a large-
close.
No, it's a larger list. And right now, let's see. That one, yeah. So this was sent on August 8th.
So by doing this, what does this mean?
It's
I mean, I was
essentially-
trying to read
again,
through this.
You have a liaison with the state for any events that your town is planning to be able to be encapsulated in their celebrations, things like that. A lot of towns have signed on. I don't see any issue with Bristol doing it. Our surrounding towns have done it, Middlebury, Lincoln.
Is there a certain date the state's gonna have? Okay, they're gonna pick a date.
No, I think it's throughout.
They do a pretty good job on July 4th. We got that pretty
Well, I
well.
was-
That committee's got that pretty well.
Well, that's what I was
Yeah.
thinking. I wondered if there was somebody on the July 4th committee who would want to be
Okay.
the liaison.
Sure.
Because, they're probably gonna plan something big for
Yeah.
the 250th,
Okay.
so.
I can reach
I
out.
wonder if
Say
some,
on there, it's gonna be over the course of 3 years.
3 years,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, 3 years.
Yeah, so not one set of
Could be a
them.
long party.
Yeah. Okay, so I could reach out.
All right.
Okay,
Yeah,
But I
and I
think we-
just think they probably have the most, and if there's somebody who's gonna have the historical piece, I
Yeah.
would say somebody from the Historical Society.
yeah,
Might wanna be involved.
okay. So we have to agree to,
Adopt the resolution.
correct. Let me see if I can share that here.
Could we talk to them first?
Sure.
Just to
Okay, yeah,
see,
bring
if
it
like,
back
if
up
they're,
next
well,
month.
because if they're excited to do it, then it'll be easy for me to pass a
Sure,
resolution.
that's true.
I don't wanna put something.
You
on.
don't want to volunteer them without asking
Yeah.
first, right?
Exactly. Like, guess what we decided?
Yeah, essentially, it's sort of, oh, here, let me share that. There it is. There's not a lot of commitment, but you do have, this area here talks about,
A local committee, right?
well, it's officially establishes a liaison or a local committee made up of a diverse group of citizens or an individual to work with for the Vermont 250th Anniversary Commission on any or all activities. It's pretty broad. But yeah, we could definitely reach out to those two groups to see if there's anyone, I mean.
He wants to take
Or a committee of them.
Yeah, yeah. And then here you also, optional is, does the town provide funding for planning or implementation of.
The next
250
Fourth of July
related-
committee
yeah.
meeting is March
March 19th.
19th. So.
Yeah.
That's really-
Okay, so bring this back, reach out to
Yeah.
those.
Reach out to
suggested.
them.
Okay.
Late March, because I think they'd say, we could talk about it in July, their
Right.
March 19th, July 4th meeting. Okay. Review of meeting minutes, approval for 2/10/25 draft.
To make a motion to approve the 2/10/2025 minute meetings. I think I had one change or two.
You did, and I've already made it. Thank you.
Second.
There's a motion, a second. Is there any others standing out there, old ones?
Yes, they're still being worked on. It's about 6 or 7 of them from a few years back.
Okay. All right, all those in favor of accepting them with the correction that Michelle's made, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Okay. Authorized warrants and liquor licenses gone around. It's not a lot of money, $119,734.46.
And thank you, Chris and Sharon, for getting all our PC people and DRB people paid.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it was a fun job.
I'm sorry.
And I just had to do the pay piece.
Had to be done.
Had to be done, yeah.
Now
Well,
it'll
see,
be
we-
easier
So we
going
paid the
forward.
auditors some money. So,
Good. Let's see that
okay,
report.
any liquor or tobacco? I'd like to see a
Yes.
couple in there.
Yep, we have two second-class licenses, one for RL Valley and one for Shaw's. And the tobaccos are for Wesco, which is next door, Champlain Farms. And then RL Valley, they have a tobacco and a tobacco substitute.
Our value meaning the mobile. one.
Mobile, Maple Fields.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, select board roundtable.
Do we have to,
Yeah.
we have to give a motion?
Yeah, motion.
A motion to approve,
Yeah,
have
approve the-
Sharon approve the
the- yeah.
liquor license for
Okay, I'd
Our
entertain a
Valley,
motion.
Shaw's and
Champlain Farms.
Champlain Farms, what, that's not the name she gets it.
Wesco,
Wesco
RL Valley,
and Shaw's.
and Shaw's, but the real name for Shaw's is Brockton.
Shaw's / Brockton.
Second.
There's a motion and second for approve those liquor and tobacco licenses. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, okay. Select board roundtable. Jessica, we'll start with you tonight.
We are going to have the food truck in front for town meeting. And I think that's the only confirmation. Everything else is the same, so.
Is one of them gonna be inside?
No, so Soulful Sisters said that they didn't want to participate. They just didn't know if there would be enough people. So instead, Daniel's gonna set up in front with his food truck and he was gonna focus on like soups, paninis, like things that were easy for people to eat.
I would just advise to, I would get with Bruce, I'm gonna bring that.
That's not a parking space.
It's not a parking spot.
I don't know, Meredith sent him something that was like a.
Cones or something,
Yeah.
like say, I would work with the police chief on that,
Mhm.
but it's not a parking spot.
Yeah,
Is
no,
it-
I saw somebody parked there this weekend.
Meredith is not
Yeah.
on here
Is
anymore.
it-
Is it possible to use it, even though it's not an official parking spot for a single event?
Creates visibility issues, with people crossing the street there.
Right.
It's just not safe.
Okay,
And that's my opinion. It's not
Okay.
safe. It's not parking space.
okay,
And crowds, bad traffic.
okay, so we might need to move that down.
Across the road, maybe.
What about parking between, just nosing in between Champlain Farms and having a service right there at the sidewalk?
Oh, yeah, okay,
That might be a spot where you could park.
is that
You mean by the handicap
right,
access?
right here.
But we'd still keep the handicap access accessible and then we'd keep the truck off the road and have vision lines.
Does that sound okay, Bruce?
That should.
I mean, do we need access down here for any reason?
You gotta have access to the door, and that's
Yeah,
just the
they just
beginning.
keep open to
Okay.
the.
You know, the
handicap.
truck's gotta
but
be
not
south
now.
of the door,
No.
Okay.
Nothing past the.
huh?
Yeah,
And
You
not
have to
cross,
make
the-
sure you're back far enough so that people can still cross.
Cross in
okay,
front of the truck.
all right, yeah, that's a great suggestion.
well, it's gotta get beyond the, cause don't they come in from the Champlain Farms to get in the side door?
What's that?
There's not a sidewalk on
Emergency
this
exit.
side.
There's not a side,
Handicap.
the handicap spot.
There's a sidewalk that comes.
There's a sidewalk and then you go, that's what I was saying, you
It's
come
just-
off the sidewalk and it goes like this. and
Yeah, it's just a drive, it's a drive right here,
Right,
Yeah,
I know,
push back
but,
far.
and there's no door to, on the.
Yeah,
I know, there is, no,
Yeah,
but I thought the front door faces the building, and I thought it turns and goes towards Champlain Farms. Just doesn't come out to the street.
Here, is this Holly Hall?
This is Holly Hall. the-
Yeah, but she's saying it comes out here and it comes here. She's saying you have to be down, you gotta be parked over beyond the sidewalk, so they still have access to the.
Right,
Yeah.
that's only 10 foot.
Yeah,
12
I think it'll be good. I think it's a good suggestion. And the truck, he can either back it in depending on where his,
But his orientation needs to be.
right.
Do we have to talk with Champlain Farms? I mean, I don't know.
We own that.
We own
We
it,
own
okay.
that. Okay.
No.
Then no.
Perfect.
Great. Okay, so
I
slight
think
change on
Just
that.
make their Dan.
Yeah.
Yeah, she had sent like a photo about where he was supposed to park with distances and stuff. So I'll,
We had previously talked about that.
is that
um,
what she's?
And that
Okay.
was, and I think that I made the suggestion, I think, to park there or suggested versus down here because it was on an angle.
Mhm.
And I only mentioned it because it had previously been a parking space,
Mhm.
but Bruce is absolutely right. The size of the truck does create problems and it's not safe. And
Okay.
That shouldn't have been suggested.
So I'll go back to Meredith then.
Yeah.
Because she was the one who was
Right.
handling.
But
the
we
food
have
truck.
a great solution, I think, in the alleyway. I think that's perfect. That works for
Okay.
everyone and is safe.
Yes, that was my only update. Everything else is the same as
Okay.
before.
Michelle?
I'm good.
Ian?
I'd like to thank the National Bank of Middlebury for our lovely new chairs.
Mhm.
They have supported us.
I just got that on my list. 10 new chairs.
Yeah. it's
Fairly
great.
new. In the bank.
We've been-
great.
we've been-
Did Taylor take all the old ones?
No, we kept one here just so you can remember.
Just remember it.
But it's great. The National Bank have been very generous over the years. Obviously, Joel has a connection, and so it's allowed us to have
Mhm.
some nice furniture for this room and
Yeah.
at various other locations too.
Okay,
So thank you for them.
and I don't have anything besides, I had the white water lead pipe money and you answered that, so. And so, the bigger is gone to sunny Caribbeans somewhere.
What about Ian?
I'm gonna get there.
No.
I have a question.
Yeah.
I'm reading, the town of Bristol had an ordinance to regulate livestock running at large, but it never. I mean, it had its
On our
civil
agenda?
penalties, but the effective date.
It was just draft. It was
It was a
never,
draft.
it was never approved. But that,
We're still, as we did tonight.
That's the one we're still doing
We're the
now.
lawyer.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Interim town administrators report, Ian.
Just looking at my hours here. What have I been doing? I've been working on
nothing.
We're not
I
Donald Trump, we're
wish.
not gonna
My-
ask you
my
for a
hours-
report for last week.
my hours don't say that. Worked on that loan submission for the inventory project, submitted that. Been working on the MERP project, sending out the details to contractors. We sent it out to 4 different contractors. We've had 1 decline at the moment. So we're still in discussion with the other.
Neil and Green are interested, if you want to send them a packet.
Great, and I have. So they just need to reach out back to us. And essentially, I've asked for a letter of interest versus a proposal because we're sort of in such an early stage for those 2 projects. So we're working on that. I've been working on, Jolie had mentioned previously a couple times about the Lawson Lane water loan, working on bringing that back up. I know various board members have asked about that, so I'm sort of digging into that to see where it was at. Working still on the police negotiations. We're getting closer and closer, and probably have maybe a meeting left to wrap those up, which is nice. What else?
Revolving loan fund. Did you pick into that yet?
I haven't
Okay.
dug into that yet. And we still continue to receive interest in the position. No standouts at the moment. One potential, but there's a time delay of a number of months before that person might become available. So I need to figure out. No. And we can discuss that internally. I can sort of share what we've received so far, and I'd like looking for feedback from people on those.
Are you gonna post those like valid where we just go and look at it? And they
Yes,
copy?
I'm sort of collecting as they come in and trying to figure out a bundle for people to react to. But yeah, I'm looking for feedback for everyone. But I'm happy to serve as interim I guess for not as, I was gonna say as long as possible, but to find the right person. I'm committed to that. I think I would prefer not to go through this, again in 6 months if someone decides that the job isn't for them. So hopefully that'll happen.
Well, the only thing I didn't mention on roundtable was we all know town meeting night
Correct.
Starts at 6.
Yep.
Food's at 5.
Food's at 5.
Encourage everybody to come. It's your town, your voice. Whether you're here in the room or on the Zoom, or you're watching it this week, please come. I've been coming since I was 18 years old and I really do enjoy going.
We've had a fantastic amount of
I hope so.
marketing and promotion for it
I hope it works.
through your group of people that you've gathered. It's been great. It's been really interesting to see all the different people sort of speaking to it online, through Front Porch Forum, things like that. I think with the addition of food and childcare, I think hopefully it'll be a great success.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. Any other business? Go to the order.
No, it was just what we addressed at the top, which was Brett's question about the snow removal for the hydrants. And thank Brett for his work for digging out many hydrants over the last few days.
Yeah.
Correspondence reports are received?
Nope.
None? No executive session?
No.
I have a question.
Oops, okay, go ahead.
You're not allowed.
Yes, she is. I've learned one thing in this line of work.
I'm
Michelle,
listening,
you
Sharon.
never tee off the town clerk. I learned that in Penny Sherwood a long time ago. God
None
rest
of
your
you
soul,
have
okay?
responded whether or not you can mark the election.
No.
The girls, whether, I gotta see where the girls play basketball, they may be going to Barry on Tuesday, if they playoffs until, I can't get an answer yet.
If I can do it, it would have to be the morning session.
All right, well, let me know if you
Okay,
can.
I gotta just check my other calendar at home and then I'll send you an email.
I can probably do the afternoon. I teach in the morning, but
Afternoon.
1
Yeah.
o'clock, after 1.
is it 1 o'clock?
Because a lot of people want to do morning.
Yeah.
Those are mine.
That's because we don't want to stay late and I don't want you
Count.
send me to the,
I
the.
know.
She won't send me to Middlebury. I won't go.
Send me to Middlebury.
I won't go down there again.
I won't go down again. Okay, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.